All right, folks, we have several signs that alt season is finally here. Now, it came a couple months earlier than I thought. I thought the ETF stuff was definitely going to trigger in the fall, and that still might be the case. But at least for right now, it seems like there's several factors that we're going to discuss. Why alt season might actually come in the summer, which is very unexpected because summer is generally not a very good time for crypto. So let's actually look at the volume first on TradingView. You can't really see it because of this lightning thing right here, but the volume has actually started to go up on a more consistent basis over the last 2 weeks than it has in a long time. It still doesn't really compare to what we had in November and December of last year. But it is consistently peaking right now, and there's definitely been a lot of big wicks, and that coincides with the price rise. Also, I do have a theory myself of yesterday's report that the government sold like 80% of its Bitcoin stash recently. They might have actually been selling over the last few months, and now they're finally getting to the end of that sale, so there may actually be nothing to counteract the buying of the big companies. If the hypothesis is true, we should continue going up. Now, there is a resistance at 120K. And as you can look at the MACD, it's not continuing to go up. It's coming down a little bit, but that doesn't really concern me. Even if there is a kind of like a resistance at 120K, alts are pumping right now. I think they should like retrace a little bit in that case, and then we should consolidate and go back up. So the volume is very, very promising right now, although we do need to see higher levels at least of what we had back in March and February when Trump was kind of like doing the tariff stuff and everyone was going crazy about the volume. But we are starting to get there. MACD is still positive, although dipping a little less than it was before, but I'm not really all concerned about that because as long as it stays in the green, I think we should be okay. And if we have a few more weeks in the green, we should have a really, really big bull run, which is what I'm hoping. In terms of Bitcoin dominance, which is the second signal, it's down to 68.1. Now, basically back in December of 2024, we were at like 54. So we still have about 7-8% to go. And altcoins have benefited really, really massively because of that. You can see that some of the altcoins like XRP, BNB are reaching all-time highs again, just on a drop of Bitcoin dominance from about 65 to about 62, basically. So if we drop to 54 like we were back in December, or we drop into the 40s like we were in the last bull run, that could signal a huge, huge bull run. Every point of Bitcoin drop signals several points of gains in alts, and obviously the smaller alts are going to take center stage in that sooner or later as the market really starts ramping up. I do think like the talks of the ETFs, the expectations that the ETFs are going to pass are really driving the market, as well as like some big money coming in for Ethereum. I do believe there was news that someone just bought like $500 million of Ethereum like yesterday, and that actually might be driving it. Yes, Ethereum is still the index right now for the altcoins, and will probably continue to be the index for altcoins for some amount of time. So, I mean, like Ethereum has ERC20. So obviously with the influence of ERC20 and that ecosystem, it's going to make things go up and it'll drag the rest of the coins up with it. So obviously I'm very much cheering for Ethereum to go up ever further so our bull run could be ever bigger at this point. I think we have to talk a little bit about the cryptos being mentioned on CNBC a lot more. You see like the crypto bill vote. Yes, like Marjorie Taylor Greene for some reason voted no on it because it does not include a ban on CBDCs. So there's like kind of a fight right now. I mean, this is kind of irrelevant. I think it eventually will pass. Probably not this week, honestly, but probably like before August, which is kind of what people expect. Hopefully, we don't go back after this week because of buy the rumor, sell the news. But there's been some pretty good progress made on the bill, so people should actually be happy with the progress being made. Right now, obviously, there's the people on the committees going against like some of the hardliners for some of the provisions, and they're running into a lot of trouble. But they're trying to convince everyone that, like, to get everyone on board. It's going to be a party line vote, obviously, but I do think it will actually get passed. It's actually being mentioned a lot on CNBC as well, kind of like taking center stage, as well as some other crypto stuff. So I really did see it center stage like yesterday. Maybe not like so much today because, like, it's the CNBC news is day by day, but yesterday and the day before I saw a lot of like crypto news on the front page. So mainstream media is paying way more attention to this stuff than they were before. And of course, like, the Genius and Clarity Act have actually gotten into the minds of more people. I think like it might make new investors more attuned to crypto, and they see the big gains, so they might actually come in. So I do think that's actually starting to onboard more users as we attract more mainstream media attention. That, coupled with like the gains that people are seeing, I think it just makes their hands itch to get into crypto. And I think a lot of the older people that got screwed in the last bull run are looking to come back into as the money piles up, as they see institutions invest in Bitcoin. At least they're buying Bitcoin, maybe Ethereum, and that's going to essentially bring the rest of the market up with it, especially with more ETFs coming in at the end of this year. Then they might actually like get out of BTC and filter into those ETFs. Now, everything obviously depends on Bitcoin holding its value right now. Basically, all these, like Ethereum, XRP, all these are actually like pumping right now as Bitcoin holds its value or slightly goes sideways up. Like I said, there's a strong resistance at 120K. I hope we don't bounce down, because if we bounce down, the rest of these alts are actually going to go down as well. So there's a lot, there is some trouble in that aspect. But as long as Bitcoin holds in the upper 110s, I do think altcoins can actually shave away some of the dominance that Bitcoin has built. And yes, Bitcoin dominance is at an 8-week low. And like I said, that might not seem like much, but it is actually a really, really big deal. If you look at the all graph, like we haven't, like the last time we saw a sharp decrease here, like this, was basically from November to December. I mean, we had like a little bump here, like I think like March, April, where it went down a little bit, but that didn't really account for much. And as you can see, even though Ethereum dominance is way, way down, is way, way down from where it was. Realistically, like it has in the last 2 weeks, it definitely has come up a little bit from like 8 point something to 10 point something. And that's obviously dragged the rest of the alts along with it. If you look at this graph, it's not really that much, but like if you look at this graph, like others from like 28, 29, all the way to, well, I mean like from about 25 or so, all the way up to like 27 or so. And that actually like bodes very, very well. You can see like alts kind of like bottomed out here on about 5.8 or about 2 months ago. And now it is going to go, and now it's starting to actually come up here. So if you look at the gray line, yeah, like about 2 weeks ago at 625, that's Ethereum. I was looking at Ethereum, but alts, like bottomed out, others 25, and now it's at like 27.4. And obviously, if we can get back up to where we were in December, which is like 33, that would mean a big, big boon for all of alts. So the numbers definitely favor crypto basically going up. Another factor is essentially meme coins have actually started to go wild and crazy. And obviously that's a good boon for crypto. I mean, we saw what happened with Bonk yesterday and Floki and stuff. Those are obviously leading the pack, but others like Snek rose more than 10% as well. So like today, some of these meme coins are taking a little bit of a trace outside of Fartcoin, which is up like 15.7. Floki's still up 10.55. So a lot of these are actually up double digits, but that's in addition to like the 30% gains they got yesterday. Now, we know that alts tend to actually fly first in a bull run because, let's face it, crypto is more of a gambling market than anything else. And once people see the opportunity to actually make profit, they jump at the opportunity to make profit. So like obviously they think that altcoins and especially these meme coins are made for gambling. So they actually these altcoins are actually made for gambling, and they know that these altcoins are made for gambling. So they pile in on those as soon as possible, expecting them to moon a lot. And they weren't really disappointed the last couple of days, as those meme coins actually went up a lot. So meme coins starting to go wild. Another signal that altcoin season has indeed arrived. And of course, like we have this DEX to CEX ratio actually going in favor of DEXs. And I think that's just kind of like a new development recently. Obviously, CEX is still kind of dominate. So like CEX has processed 3.9 trillion in trading volume compared to 877 billion for DEXs, but that's higher than like pretty much any previous time. So essentially, cryptocurrency traders have been moving away from CEXs in favor of DEXs, pushing the CEX to DEX ratio to new all-time high. People are getting more used to crypto. People are getting more comfortable in working with crypto. And of course, spot trading volume on DEXs surged 25% in the second quarter of 2025 over the previous quarter, while CEX volumes plunged almost 28%. So this shift drove the DEX to CEX ratio to a record high in Q2, rising from 13 cents in the previous quarter to 23 cents. Despite the increasing ratio, the spot DEX market is still significantly smaller than CEX, with the top 10 centralized trading platforms posting, decentralized platforms posting 877 billion of volume in Q2 compared to 3.9 trillion in CEXs. The DEX momentum is actually led by BSC and not ERC. So that's another switch. Even though ERC20 has actually been the one to kind of lead the price come up, it's really Binance and PancakeSwap that's actually led the DEX momentum. So you can kind of see where the DEX volume is moving. I think it is going to be Binance and Solana, which are the two biggest ecosystems outside of Ethereum. So PancakeSwap, a DEX built on the Binance Smart Chain, was the biggest gainer, with volume growing 539% to 392.6 billion from 61.4 billion. With a massive surge, Pancake has emerged as the largest DEX globally, accounting for 45% of all trades in Q2. According to CoinGecko, the DEX surge in Q2 can be attributed to the launch of Binance Alpha in May, which routes trades through PancakeSwap. In turn, this has also made BSC the most popular chain for DEX trading, overtaking the likes of Ethereum, Base, and Solana. Apart from increasing spot trading volumes, decentralized crypto trading has also reached a major milestone in terms of perpetual futures, and that's why I actually like Hyperliquid and WBT, because those are the platforms that are going to be working with perps trading, where traders speculate on the price movements without owning assets. According to CoinGecko data, perp trading on DEXs grew to an all-time high, reaching 898 billion for the first time in history. So yeah, like I said, I'm very, very positive. I'm extremely positive about Hype, and I'm very positive about WBT as well, because those are the ones in perps trading. And I think the volume for perps trading is only going to go up. Obviously, other players are going to come in because there's a giant pile of cash for perps trading. But I am pretty confident in those two. And that, I think that perps trading stuff, like all the futures trading, will actually lead an exodus even more towards decentralized exchanges, because those don't have to work with the same regulations that centralized exchanges do when it comes to like all this crypto stuff. And obviously there's going to be like the money launderers, tax evaders, but there's also going to be just like regular people that don't want to deal with the red tape. So obviously the top 10 perp DEXs, only Hyperliquid, Aster, and RabbitX and EdgeX posted volume growth. But overall, despite a couple of exchanges plummeting, the new exchanges more than actually make up for it. That's just competition. And of course, like more and more people keep on getting attracted to DEXs. So those are really, really good signs. Like Bitcoin dominance hitting 8-week lows after only a week or two of decrease. The technical charts are looking to favor Bitcoin going up even more. The crypto vote also, even though it's like running into a bit of trouble, will eventually get passed. I think like Mike Johnson and Donald Trump are trying to get the rest of the people actually on board. Meme coins actually starting to go wild. I think they'll have several more days of actually going wild. And of course, like we got to discuss like Google and YouTube trends. If you look at Google trends for crypto, I mean, both for Google and YouTube trends here and worldwide, it has actually gone up. And obviously, like that's one of my major signals that crypto is that crypto is actually back. If you look at both crypto and Bitcoin, not crypto trends, if you just look at crypto, We're not going to look at the past day. We're going to look at the past 12 months. Obviously, you see a big line up from July 13th through 19th. It's not, data's not done yet, but it looks like it's surging back up to 69. If you look at Bitcoin, you can look at Bitcoin interest surging up from 29 to 56. I mean, it's taken like half of a month, but 29 to 56 is a huge increase, and that just shows you like, it's coming back up. It's still nowhere near the November high of 100, but it's getting there. And after a couple more weeks, if we keep going up, I think it'll actually get past it, and then we'll definitely see some huge alt season gains during this time. Also, the Coinbase app on the App Store has actually risen from like 386 to 137, and that's another big signal that we are actually more in a bullish market. And according to that signal, we were never in a bear market, because like when the Coinbase wallet, when the interest falls below 500, that's where when we're in the bear market. But when it goes above like 150, we're in a bull market. We're kind of in a bull market right now, but I won't celebrate until it gets into the top 50 or the top 30. But the web searches, the Coinbase like app ranking, that all points to more retail coming in, and more retail coming in is only going to balloon the price even further. So that's the news for today. Those are the signals. Like and subscribe, hit the bell notifications button, and I will see you guys later.